What's up, everybody? This is Rebels in Wales, back for another video. I hope you're all doing well and having a great day wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing. Thursday, 30th of October. Welcome back to the show. Well, there's been a bit of drama in the community, isn't there, the past couple of days. X is absolutely red hot at the minute. You get times like this. I don't know whether it's like Hallows Eve vibes or, you know, there's a strange energy on X right now, and everyone's really feisty, touchy. And there's a lot of explosive energy going on. Energy, it's the key thing, right? There's energy. At least there is some energy, no matter what polarity it's in. We're going to discuss a bit of that today. The markets have been kind of ranging sideways. Kind of, you know, you're in chop zones at the minute if you haven't been paying attention. Bitcoin and XRP are kind of ranging, and these ranges are very complicated in terms of moving people's emotions left and right, up and down, causing confusion in the markets. If we have a quick look at that now, I'll just show you the price, some of the price things going on. I keep it on the simple charts today. Bitcoin's dipped down overnight at 4 a.m. to my local time, 208,000. It's bounced back to 110, and XRP is kind of following a similar pattern. You know, it had a wick down. It had this Bart Simpson top hat on the XRP chart here. We're on the 4-hourly. And you can see that we've wicked down and we're creating higher highs all the way, and it could be a staircase up towards the 280s. You know, the thing is, with these charts, sometimes they take a while to play out and we have to show great patience. You can see where my cursor is here, you had a series of these bouncing around that look like, oh god, it's going to fall over. And what happened? It ripped to the north. The way I look at this, and I've got a lot of friends who ask me about, you know, what do you think's going on, what's happening and things, and I just say, well, let's look at the macro and what's going on with the things like the ETFs and stuff. You know, how much demand, pent-up demand, are we likely to see through that? And it's going to be quite a lot, in my humble opinion. You know, none of us can offer financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of pent-up demand from the ETFs, I believe. So yeah, we'll just have to see. I've got to be very careful what I say on YouTube right now, because creators are getting strikes left, right, and centre. So yeah, we're going to stay away from the kind of the pushy narratives on things and play it safe for now. Right, if you haven't met me before, sorry, I'm Ripples in Wales. You find me on X. This will be posted on the YouTube, but we also have a Rumble channel. It's pinned in the top of our X profile. Here you can find digital assets versus the link there. You can click on it. All the other videos that we've created that are not YouTube friendly will go straight onto Rumble for obvious reasons. We got deplatformed here before. Anyhow, let's move on to the meat and bones. So this post really sparked off a lot of controversy yesterday. Solana, their intern, was obviously feeling a bit spicy, and he's putting, there's no bridge currency, there are stable coins on Solana. Now this is a very clever narrative. That, you know, and afterwards I love you, which is just class. It's a quite cool post actually, but it tagged Western Union in it. Okay, now Western Union back in the day, if you were here in 2018, Western Union did some trials with XRP and with Ripple rather. Sorry, not with XRP. Beg your pardon. Get my facts right there. They did some trials with Ripple, and I think Ripple paid them to do some trials, and the lawsuit ensued, and they had to back off completely. Anyway. We're talking 7 years later. Western Union had courted Stellar on their network, and they've now joined Solana to do some work on. And I say joined very specifically because it's a paid shill. Now let's have a look. See, when we dig into this, what actually happened. Now, when they're saying here there's no bridge currency, okay, so XRP has long been talked about as a bridge currency for settlement, as trusted liquidity, but they're saying to say that there are no bridge currency, there are stable coins. Okay, cool. That's a very simplistic view. First of all, Western Union is an outdated relic of a dinosaur which transmits value across the world through the old TradFi banking institutions. It's something that won't last the test of time, likely, I don't know. But given its business model and given the disruption of blockchain, it's now having to pivot away from SWIFT to stablecoins in order to try and save its own skin. Now, in the world that we live in the crypto world that we all kind of love and reside in this Twitterverse, YouTubeverse, and internet, the idea of blockchain permits us to transfer value anywhere in the world without a centralized custodian authoritarian. And Western Union is that centralized, controlled authoritarian. They have banking partners, I think, in many thousands of branches around the world in exotic currencies, so that you can send money home. However, they charged you a 10% flat fee. Now, the whole idea or premise of blockchain was to get rid of entities like this and Swift, who took massive cuts out of the system. Now, these are desperate moves that they're having to kind of reorganize their business structures in order to try and survive. I dare say they'll survive, but they'll survive in a very different pretext. So first of all, that post that kind of brought a lot of interest out. And then we moved on to Anders, who replied to that saying, "That's cool. I made a graph showing Ripple's target market for cross-border payments. Ripple has a target for on this 187 trillion, and Western Union has a market share for 2 trillion. Actually, I'd say that's very bold. But anyway, it was kind of a bit of a shot across the bow. And so this is the main post that it was all to do with Solana. It's official. Western Union, the world's largest money transfer business, is building exclusively on Toronto. Now, exclusively, right? Okay, so there's music to this. Now, if you understand Solana, it's controlled by the VC crowd. It was pumped early on by all the general VC lot, who the FTT, big holders of it, Sam Bankman-Fried. It was pushed by the one and only Kevin McCleary, I think is his name. And it had a run, and a fantastic run up from $12 to $200, and you could see that the Wall Street were kind of, the venture capitalists had been pushing it as almost an Ethereum replacement. It runs all the meme coins, it runs all infrastructure like that, and it's heavily loved by the DGen community, and rightly so. It's a fun chain to reside on. I hold Solana, I trade in meme coins on there. But as we'll see later on, it's probably not the best one for financial institutions. Anyway, Watch Guru, just in Western Union, launched stablecoins on Solana in 2026. And then you had Camilla McFarland, who kind of elaborated on this for us and put things in context, because it didn't make sense. I was like, okay, cool. I thought they were building on Stellar. Okay, fair, they pivoted and gone to Solana. What you didn't read is Solana had to write a $25 million check with $25 million in liquidity stimulus for only a 6-month exclusive. It's tempting for legacy organizations to de-risk their proof of concept with a big check, but they'll regret it when their chosen blockchain goes down with millions of payments are offline. Very interesting point there by Camilla. And finally, we knew that it was a pay-to-play game then. So Solana had paid them $25 million, it seems. Now, of course, that's speculation. I don't know. I can't verify that. Very, very interesting. So the kind of, there was a lot of heat. Now, why was Solana posting this? First of all, let's kind of go into this. Well, you see, they've got a big marketing campaign at the minute because one of their ETFs went live yesterday. It's called Hello Wall Street. We can play it now. It's a good ad, by the way. Fair play.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
GM.
GM.
They counted us out. We turned it about. We're here, we're on the street. On the street. From trenches to the street. We're claiming our seat. King of the street. Back on the feet. King of the street. No more retreat.
Very good Solana. So they've launched their first ETF. They've managed to get them over the door, even though the government's closed down. And I think a lot more might do the same in a short order. So this is why they're having a big push at the minute, a big marketing push, and good on them. But it doesn't detract away from the king. And if you take a punch at the king, you better not miss. The Solana's chain is built around degenerates, the old pump fun games and stuff. And I love the chain for that. That's cool. It's got its place. it certainly isn't a financial institutional giant like Ripple. Let's get things in order. And you get then the slew of the accounts, the same scumbag accounts, which I really am not into. This really frustrates me. Altcoin Daily, your opinion of XRP tells me of everything I need to know about your views of the crypto market. Okay, cool. And the same thing by these paid Bitcoin shills, Gary Cardone. Without XRP, you're lost, and whatever. And so happy I sold all my XRP a long time ago. I've seen hundreds of posts like this with tons of KOL media advisors, in the crypto space, who are throwing a lot of shade on XRP at the minute, and it's fascinating. It's all very coordinated and very tactical. You might ask yourself why. Do we think that maybe the XRP ETFs are also very close to the line? When you have a very coordinated push like this, it tells me, I've been here since 2015. I've seen every kind of news slew back and forth using manipulation to push these markets around the yard so many times. I can sense it when it occurs. So I'd keep your eyes on the prize. Again, this is Wolf of Wall Street. Again, he sits on the fence so much he's got splinters on his arse. He's posts himself as a neutral person. Then he kind of disrespects a lot of things to do with XRP. But I think he does it for engagement. He's actually a very good interviewer. But anyway, that he's saying I say there's no disrespect. Looking for an actual answer. What's the current pitch for XRP? The token, not Ripple, the company. Western Union chose Solana for their stablecoin. Swift went with Linear. ETH, which was the selling point I had for years. Stablecoins are what he's, so stablecoins are the only thing that Vet answered. Simple, just preference. Some people prefer Bitcoin, Ether, XRP. For the XRP, there are many. To list a few, unique consensus algorithm, enshrined L1 features with no protocol incentives. In general, it's a very defensive chain, purpose-built to move money at low risk. Love that. It's not differentiated, and people prefer this instead of having 100th EVM chain on smart contract killer. Not deep, to be honest. Very, very savvy answer. So there's a lot of shade anyway, but let's throw some tomatoes back a little bit here. They got unknown DLT who posted this. I think you should worry about other things such as your network outages before firing shots at Ripple. And this is Solana instant history. So it's basically a shot of things when the network has gone down, and there have been a many. I'm sure they're improving dramatically, but there's been severe incidents many times over the years, and this is why financial institutions are likely to stay away from chains like that. And by the way, I don't kind of think of Western Union as a new world financial institution. They're a legacy player looking for survival. Now, this was interesting. The New York Stock Exchange. And I've put this chap is telegraphing a crash for his masters. So you've got the very famous CNBC host. Is it Andrew Roxo? How do you even pronounce that? Let's call him Andrew. He does the crypto coverage. Well, he's just released a book called The 1929 Crash, and he's on Wall Street with his Addams Family kind of post vibe here. I think it's really weird. The Great Wall Street Crash of history and how it shattered a nation. And can you not feel that there's a very funny energy behind this? The big red banner, the 1929. They are telegraphing you something weird is going on that. Okay, you can sense it coming, can't you? It's a bit creepy. Anyway, on to the positive news. This is X-Force Global about XRP. Get ready for the $10 as a conservative wave 3 target. I don't know if you can see that, but you've got the triangle breakout that we were at before. If you follow my cursor, then we're in this wave kind of, it'll be kind of A, B, C. B, C, D, and then correction for wave 3. I think that'd be 1, 2, 3. Anyway, yeah, you're going to get the... So a lot of people are, kind of moving away from this kind of bearish thesis on XRP. Moving forward, we've got, this is a post that really kind of was fascinating for me. Joe Katz, David Schwartz, in reply to a post, was talking about the escrow. And I put this should break the internet, because back in 2017-18 we were talking about this escrow. Now Ripple has an escrow, I think it's of 40 odd billion of XRP. You'll be able to correct me. You guys will have the data at hand. All right, it's in a pre-allocated I think it's a 53-month rolling window. Then $1 billion comes out every month, only to OTC customers. And if whatever doesn't get bought gets straight back in grandfathered for another 52 months. Anyway, we've always kind of speculated that potentially maybe those escrows might have had a buy order on them already, and they were then in escrow waiting for a client to be able to receive them at the given window that the escrow came back online. Now, the escrow is a safeguard to stop any XRP being flooded onto the market at a given speed and rate. You know, you've got a 53-month off window, which is a kind of just sub 5-year window of a rolling time. Excuse me, for these things to come out. And he's put Ripple could sell the right to receive the token released from escrow, or even sell the account the escrows complete into. But the XRP still can't circulate until their release date. Just take that in. Ripple could sell the right to receive the tokens released from the escrow, or even sell the accounts the escrows completed. Now, if I've understood that correctly, what he's saying is that that allocated escrow account could already be, that the escrow account could already be pre-allocated to a client that's already bought it. We didn't know that. We didn't know that you could put bids onto predefined escrow accounts. So that means, well, it could mean, this is again a speculation, that that XRP or some of that XRP that's in escrow is grandfathered into already ownership. It's bought, it's held, and it's in a rolling locked account for institutional customers and clients. Well, that would make things very interesting, right? Because if that's the case, that supply shock people are always concerned about from Ripple dumping on the market isn't there, is it? It's already owned and controlled by other entities, and they want to use that trusted liquidity in the future. Anyway, moving on. CoinDesk, the world's financial leader, heading to New York for Ripple Swell. Over 700 of the world's most influential voices will be, including leaders from Nasdaq, BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Global Policy, will converge at this 2-day gathering. Tune into CoinDesk Live on November the 4th. Now, they've been chosen the official partner for the Ripple Swell, which is huge. That's good. That's good news. It means that they're good actors, finally. Fintech's Frontier meets real-world impact Ripple Swell. This New York, from a tokenization to financial inclusion, bold ideas and global voices, the future of money in motion, the internet of value. Let's have a listen.
Miami has long been a cultural and business connector between North and South America.
There is no longer this dichotomy between digital assets, crypto, traditional finance. There is a very real convergence.
The role that Ripple is playing in the industry is to really help bridge traditional finance and decentralized finance. The two financial systems need each other. Welcome back, everybody.
How awesome is it that we are actually witnessing the creation of a new asset class?
What we're starting to see is that a lot of people are starting to move into stable coins so they can be trade ready to move into any other asset.
Our vision is looking forward to tokenization of real world assets, financial and non-financial assets.
Institutions see simply, this is math. This is not just an alternative asset class. It's math that works.
Anyway, this is from the previous one in Miami, and that rug that you might have seen in the picture here. This is so funny. Michael Arrington stole it and had to return it to the Ripple. Where is it? It's here. I'm not going to find it now. There was a rug in the with the Ripple logo. This rug here. Michael Arrington stole it, put it in his Jeep, and drove off. And apparently was called back to the Ripple HQ to return it. It was so funny. There's a picture of him in his Lamborghini car with this Ripple rug. Anyway, fun times. So, bit of something interesting that's happening now. Mikkel posted. I'll actually bring this back now here for you. So looks like I just received a strike on my YouTube channel for encouraging harmful or dangerous content. Obviously, I couldn't disagree more. So, it's not Mikkel's not the first one. There's tons of people that have been receiving like strikes on YouTube for posting content regarding XRP. Strangely enough, Eri said, "I'm not sure you saw my post to Encast Official, who also received one. I received one warning and 2 strikes in 30 days. Okay, that's really really not good." And I just kind of commented on things. Where is it now? Sorry. I've got a funny feeling this is very coordinated with the algorithm. And YouTube, you know what you're doing. There seems to be a number of strikes on the creators who are creating XRP content. And we've seen this play out before. We've seen this happen before. And I've put, you can see what's happening, can't you? This is not good, YouTube. This is not good. I've been deplatformed for 18 months before. Again, you're up to the same old antics. It's just really, really disappointing for a platform. Very, very disappointing. That's why we've got the Rumble platform, for that very reason. You can't be trusted. Brad Garlinghouse here, just to remind everyone, the era of speculation is ending in BTC's sold story. Utility built on XRP. Once clarity hits, only real classes will survive. Now, this was a video posted by Eri yesterday, and you had a round table of people in a room with Tom Lee, very awkward Tom Lee, chairing this conversation. Quite well though, but it was awkward, with Safety Nomus, who is the Bitcoin standard author, trying to defend, you know, this full-on Bitcoin narrative about everything. And Brad stepped in and was like, nah, I don't think that's right. There is no consensus.
You're demonstrating that we don't have a global consensus about crypto. Even in this conversation, and I agree that it still is early, partly because there is not a global consensus about some of these things. Agreed. And I think some of the use cases, we're still extremely early in terms of scaled use cases. Circle is certainly one example that has started to have a scaled use case around a stablecoin. But I think the crypto industry, I agree, the next 16 years, I think will be better than the last 16 years, because you'll finally see applications emerging that up until now have just been the store of value story or speculation.
Oh, and you should have seen the scene after this by Tom Lee. He said, "Oh no, we need to cut now. The prince is coming in. We need to cut." It was so awkward. Go on my timeline and find it. I'll go on to Eri's channel and see it. I commented. I was like, "Well, that's really weird." This store of value narrative, new apps being built. He is firing shots there. Okay, this guy doesn't give up. He's so bold. Massive respect to Brad Garlinghouse. Not to pump my bags, but just like he's not afraid of just going after these. The maximalist view on things, and I'm for all the chains. But one thing that we stand for in the XRP community here is honesty. If anything else, one of the most fierce, I think we're one of the most fierce advocates for honesty and truth and transparency, given the actual war that our native token has been through over the past 7 years. I've been here since, like I say, 2015 in crypto, and I saw the onslaught very early on against Ripple and XRP, and we've seen everything. We've seen the rise of Ethereum, the Solanas, we've seen it all. And so one thing that we stand for is as a voice of, I guess, I wouldn't say reason, but a voice of honesty. So when things are pushed as BS, the XRP community, like a swarm of hornets, jumps on them. But Alex Scott puts it beautiful. No one can understand XRP for you, and it's so true. The time needed to understand XRP and Bitcoin, for instance, come with a dedicated amount of study. And Wolf of Wall Street's again. I say this in another straight, looking for an answer again. What's the current pitch for XRP? And Alex has put, no one can understand XRP for you. You need to do the research into it. Anyway, that's pretty cool. And that's it, actually. I just wanted to cover some of the memes here briefly. They've had a bit of a pullback, but some of them, like, this unbelievable moves on some of them. One of them in my portfolio, let's just have a look at 24 hours. It's Flame. It's absolutely scorching, no pun intended. Absolutely ripping at the minute. Here, it's up to now 500,000 market cap. I was buying that right at the bottoms. Good to see Ripple bouncing back. That's another real good one. I think there's going to be a resurgence of the XRP memes. I've been saying it before, I'll say it again. My eyes are firmly fixed upon them, because when XRP, or if XRP does run, fingers crossed, they'll also have a real strong day in the sun. That's where my attention's fixed anyway. Anyhow, there's some buying opportunities there, sure. I'm just looking at them now. Alright guys, also there's a link obviously in the description for First Ledger, but also this is Magnetic. This is a pretty good website I use for just tracking the various tokens. You can see Flame there's up 564%. I wouldn't buy it today, obviously it's on a pump, but again, some of the tokens really, really ripping here. You've got Phoenix, Fuzzy, Flame, Drop, Army, all the good ones, ATM, some real belters there, 589. That's not the real 589, there's actually an earlier 589, which is true one. Anyway, I always finish on something fun. Cool, guys. I hope that's cool. We've been over some of the crazy news. It's the first video I've done on YouTube for a few days, so I had to dive in. It's a bit long, that 25 minutes long, sorry. Tried to cover it all pretty quick, but c'est la vie. So is it. Oh yeah, and what I wanted to cover just before we finish. Again, we see the knight in this armor, in this scene here, in his disheveled armor. Yeah, it's this kind of warped armor, and this is representing of the knight. Where knights come from, it's from the famous, you know, how would you call it? The Arthurian legend, the Grail stories. Sir Lancelot. This is Brad Garlinghouse in his broken armor, but not to forget, soon the knight changes his armor into something a little bit more special by next April, by the looks of things. So we're still in this Christmas scene. Lots to come on this. I'm going to do some work for the other channel as well. Alright, thanks guys, thanks for watching. Please do me one thing, it helps the channel out a lot. Can you just hit the like? It's free, it doesn't cost anything. If you like the content, smash the like for me. Drop a comment also, let me know where you are in the world watching this. Always fascinates me, I do reply to all the comments. Anyhow, thanks for watching, I appreciate your time. Okay, see you on the next video. Take care, be blessed, bye for now.